Hello, welcome to the stream. How are you doing? Welcome on. I have light on the Pikachu now. I have lights on the Pikachu. I don't think it is in the right spot though. I don't know. I still have to fix the Pikachu. I think it's fine now. Yeah, I think it's fine. I have lights on the Pikachu, so technically I think I have all the lights right now. I might add some extra lights in the future. There are some things here that are still a little bit on the more white side. And I need to find a way to get the better use of the lights, but that is it. Welcome though. Welcome to the stream. Hope you had a wonderful last day. And that's it. Hello then, welcome. How are you doing? Welcome to the stream. How are you doing? Also, by the way, I do need to do something here because not everyone is here, so I have to do it like that. This is gonna be the part that where's Nagy? Alright, there we go. So you guys are here, and that's all that matters. By the way, the game looks amazing. Like Donkey Kong is looking like super cool. Super cool. I'm very excited for that game. I'll play it eventually. And it does look like a very nice one. It is from the same team. You can tell it's the same team that made Mario Odyssey, even without checking, because of the way that when you catch one of those special bananas or whatever, you kind of just you know, you do the little dance and then just woo, you pose, you know. What's your most controversial opinion? Most controversial opinion. I don't know. I mean, about Pokemon, it's like I don't think Gen 5 was as great as people say it was. It is fine. It is a good story for Pokemon terms. I think we had 2 better stories since then already. I think it's fine. It's a hard game for me to replay. I cannot replay that game. Do you have that much delay? It might have been me. I don't know. It might have taken a while to answer. Like, do not use the chat on screen to test the delay because it is delayed. There's a slight delay in the chat thing, you know. That's there's a little bit of a delay there. So don't use the visual chat. I'm so happy we're finally getting new Donkey Kong. He deserves more respect. He's a grandfather of Nintendo. I think it's pretty cool that I think it was obvious that we would get like a 3D Donkey Kong eventually. Like, I really feel like eventually that would happen because Mario got it. Even Sonic got, you know, all the old 2D franchises, you know, they were getting those 3D platformers and all that. So I think Donkey Kong was like just the perfect one for that. We did have like a 2D one, right? We had Tropical Freeze, a remaster or a port of Tropical Freeze on the Switch. I didn't play it. I've heard it is fantastic, but I never played it. And I'm very excited for this one. I think this one is looking really cool. It's really the price of games that's making me like, do I want it? Do I not? You know, that's kind of my thing. It's very expensive. Like, a game costing 80 euros in Portugal is criminal, even like very criminal. So still not sure. That's how I feel about Sinnoh. That game's a mess. I think Sinnoh is another one that I probably would put in the same bowl. I do believe that Sinnoh kind of makes me happier for the simple reason that it added a lot of crazy lore. You know, like I think Sinnoh expanded the lore of the Pokemon universe by a lot. You know. You didn't have anything crazy like that. Like okay, Growl and Kyogre, those are pretty crazy, but I don't think you had anything like that. And I think Sinnoh opening up the doors for crazy lore, I think that was pretty cool. I'm also regretting the fact that I have 2 lights pointed at me, and because it's very hot. If you guys don't know, like, summer is approaching in Portugal. Sometimes it gets super hot, and now it's very hot. It is very hot. I'm not doing a generation lock, so I'm playing through all the gens, but if I use catch Bulbasaur in Kanto, I cannot use it in Johto. That's a cool one. It kind of makes you. I think you should always catch Pokemon from that region. I think that would be pretty cool. Like you have to catch Pokemon from a specific region. I haven't touched my Emerald for a long time already. We just advanced a little extra thing in the house, so it took a long time to do, and I kind of haven't touched Emerald because it has been non-stop. I've picked up the DS and I was like, okay, I'm gonna play some Pokemon Emerald, but I didn't. I did not do it. I don't have a new modern Donkey Kong. Those games, DKC. It isn't open world. It is still a confined world. It is still Donkey Kong Country. Okay, are those the GBA ones? Because if they are the GBA ones, I really love that game. I played it a lot. I played those games quite a lot. But I do really like the fact that they're taking the Super Mario Odyssey approach, but on steroids. Because let's be honest, that's really what this is. It's Super Mario Odyssey on steroids, which sounds as good as it probably is, you know. So I'm really excited for that. What's your highest level one, then? By the way, what's your highest level Pokemon, or at least the one that did the best so far? That's already helped with the games. I've been playing it more and more like that. Like usually, whenever I play a game that has Go-Goat, for example, or Totodile, I go for that. But like Scarlet and Violet and all that, and Galar, I did do like a full team with Pokemon from that specific region. I don't think I did it in Gen 7 at the time. I don't remember. I honestly do not remember my main teams. I kind of have to go back and check the Hall of Fame or something like that. It does feel like the best way to play it, because I do understand why some people do enjoy their older Pokemon, because you create a bond with a specific Pokemon if you used it enough times, or it's Pokemon, it's Pokemon, and the way they market the game is you make friends with them, and they're by your side and all that. So I kind of understand it. I kind of understand it, but it does help make the game more interesting if you're using Pokemon that you don't know. Not that for the most part they don't really matter, because nowadays you just get access to everything from the very beginning. Like you know exactly what's happening. Oh, this Pokemon evolves. Oh, this Pokemon evolves just like this. Like, oh, this has 2 evolutions. This one has 3. Let me just You're gonna do a new Mega Only thing. A Mega Only. Do you think, by the way, we're gonna be able to Mega Evolve multiple? Like, how do you think battles will work? Like, as soon as the battle ends, if you start another one, are you able to Mega Evolve straight up, or do you think there will be like some kind of like recharge period or something? Kanto-Ray, welcome to the stream. How are you doing? Today we're hunting. Hey, I'm Not So Ace Trainer, and we're hunting for Arceus. Let's get into it. I said the line. I've thought about changing that multiple times, by the way, Kanto-Ray. Like, I have thought about it multiple times. So, yeah. If it ever changes, I'm sorry. I'm very sorry, but it might happen. It might happen. Just a second now, because it is Lapras time. There we go, and there's Joe as well, so we bring back the Sylveon as well. I'll get this one over here. Yeah, let's get the Lapras now. Let's get it up there. There we go. Beautiful. I'm doing randomized, and my Pokemon are now at the level cap of Lieutenant Surge. My team is Sandslash, Altaria, Muck, Victreebel, Flareon, and Pichu. That is pretty cool. Pichu is a weird one, though. It's gonna be forever on the God Hunt, Joe. By the way, welcome, Joe. Welcome. It's gonna be forever on the God Hunt. All I ask is let this thing be done until, like, before Pokemon ZA releases. That's all I ask. Because I won't be able to stream ZA. That's That's the bet. That is the bet. It's all good. Change is very good. And picking Totodile is definitely so finally you're playing the game as it is intended to be played. Finally, Counter Ray. It took you a long time. Like Crystal came out in like probably 2000, 2001 or something. It took you 24 years to actually play the game as it is intended. Crazy, crazy. At least now you're playing it right. I'm just hoping that you do the same in Pokemon Legends ZA. There's only one right choice, and that is Totodile. You know, Totodile is the right choice. Charge once per battle. But do you think it's gonna be like the Terra Orb, for example, that you have to go to a specific location for the Mega Bracelet to be charged or something like the Keystone? I don't think that's gonna be the case. I think the Mega Energy is gonna be all around. That's gonna be part of the plot. Actually, like the energy that charges everything is gonna be all around. So I do feel like that's gonna be part of the plot and why Pokemon can Mega Evolve everywhere. And because someone is doing something crazy to them. I think it's gonna be similar to how they're doing experiments in like forcing Magikarp to evolve. The Team Rocket is doing radio waves to force Magikarp to evolve, and that's why we get the angry shiny Gyarados, the red Gyarados, in Pokemon Gold, Silver, Crystal, Heart Gold, Soul Silver. I think it's gonna be some similar plot with. Likely Quasartico. I think Quasartico might be the right ones for that, you know? He grown me a lot, just need a good team to build around him. I mean, usually I just go, back in the day, this is true, like, I usually just went like Totodile and just go crazy, you know? Oh, because they have a meter, you're right about that. You are right about that. Yeah, you're right about it. You're true, I was forgetting about that. There was a meter, they had like a meter there that, whenever it was full, you could Mega Evolve, and it probably charged with like moves that you hit or something. Yeah, you're right, Oz, you're right. I was forgetting about it. I was forgetting about that thing. Pichu died to Surge. Oh, then that Pichu didn't deserve you. That Pichu did not deserve you. By the way, Counter Ray, I changed my profile picture to Totodile because now we have Pokemon available for the profile picture. So I am no longer Link. I am now Totodile. Yeah. Still have a white shirt here that I wore yesterday, and I should be wearing today because, well, it's very hot, and I'm wearing black. I wear a lot of black. I was a kind of, I still have pretty much all of them, but I had a whole bunch of like band t-shirts, you know? Every time I went to a show, I bought a new t-shirt, and then I would wear them, and I would always look like black band t-shirt and like tight jeans or something. That was kind of the vibe, you know? All the time. It changed a little, and I think now I'm more like a normal. Like this is a band shirt, you know. This is still a band t-shirt, but it is a white one, so that's kind of cool. It's from a band we played with called Their Septius, and I think that's. Let me not have it. There's Septius. There we go. Pretty cool band. If you guys like melodic death metal, they're pretty awesome, and they're from Portugal. And we played with them a few months ago. They were pretty cool. I now have Latias in Pichu's place. That's a good replacement. That is 100% a very cool replacement. I'd say that, yeah. I wish I could get Houndour in Johto. Can't you get Houndour in Gold? Or is that Growlithe? Am I? But you're playing Crystal, right? You are playing Crystal, and that changes things. Cause I thought you could in it's weird. I don't think they. Yeah, Route 7. No, you can't. No, Route 7 is in Kanto. Yeah, it's in Kanto. You cannot get it. What? I'm probably confusing it with Growlithe. Yeah, I'm probably confusing it with Growlithe that you can get. I don't know exactly the route, but it's like north or west or northwest actually of Violet City. You could actually get it there. But it's a Growlithe, it's not Houndour. It was Johto's Houndour. No, Kanto's Houndour. They could also pull off a Terrapagos and give us protagonist privilege, allowing us to start with fully charged Mega Energy in the post-game for whatever reason, but I'm not a fan of the idea. I'm also not a big fan of that, to be fair. I don't think we as Pokemon players need plot armor. You know, I don't think that is necessary. I never ever felt like I was missing my Terra orb. You know, it was so easy to just charge it. I know why they did it. Like there was no they could have kept that to the terrarium because there is no Pokemon centers there, but they just decided to just unlock that thing. But I was not a big fan of that. I never felt like I was, oh my god, I didn't have my Terra orb charge. What the hell? You know, like you're always passing by a Pokemon Center. Like there's one everywhere. And ZA has the same thing. So if they were using the Pokemon Center for Mega stuff, there's you can see like 3 of them in one picture, one frame of the trailer. So you're probably gonna have plenty of those. Not a big fan of Johto. You know, I'm fine with that. I'm a big fan of Johto, but I know about Johto's shortcomings, and I do accept them because they're real. I think my thing about Johto is not as much about the the decisions they made with the distribution of the Pokemon, the level curve, and all those things. It's mostly about the vibe of the region. It really gives me a very cool vibe, you know. I think they really aced what they were trying to do. That's kind of the thing. Like I really feel like they aced exactly what they were trying to do. It's just insane how nostalgic this it really is. Like I don't know how to explain it. I think it's a mix of the music and the designs of the buildings and all that, and it just works. It's just very nostalgic, despite not being. I never been to Johto ever. You know, like especially in 2001 when the games came out in Europe, I think. Never aced. I said the word. For my first playthrough, I never terrestrialized until the final battle against the AI professor. I did terrestrialize, not because I needed it, but mostly because it was cool. You know, I like the I'm using the mechanic, you know. But I didn't really need to terrestrialize. Maybe I should have terrestrialized more like sooner against Caitlyn, for example. Aesthetically, it's beautiful, but I'm not a fan of the Pokemon selection. I think that is the biggest grip most people have with Johto, and I do agree with that for the most part. I think I do agree with that. I would love to see a more modern take on Johto, like a take that just goes beyond what we had so far. Like Art Gold looks beautiful. I think it's the best 2D has ever looked in Pokemon, like better than Gen 5 in my opinion. I think Heart Gold really looks amazing. I think going back to Art Gold nowadays, even to myself, and I'm a huge Johto fan, it was hard. It was really tough. Like I tried my best. I wanted to, and I played the whole game. I did the whole thing. You know, like I did it. I shiny hunted the Ho-Oh, but it's hard. It's hard to really play through the game because it's just very sluggish. It is, and I think it's hard for me to say this because I can easily go back to Gen 1 and Pokemon Gold and play those games. But going back to Gen 4, even if they are the Gen 2 remakes, it's very hard for me to do. Like, I love those games, but it's getting hard for me to play them. And I know it is exactly because, you know, like, lots of HMs, slow leveling, you know, like, all those things, like, the sluggish of Gen 4, you know, like, it's tough. It is tough. I love those games with my life, but, man, they can be tough. Like just but I totally get why people don't want to use old Pokemon. That's just not my style. They had their adventure. It's time for them to pass it toward the next game. But yeah, Terra or charging might as well have not existed in the game. It was the biggest non-hurdle. It really was. It really was. I think that I mean, it makes sense. I don't know. But Johto is not frigid. Let's not make excuses there. Their engine was terrible at the time. Like they managed to make the games look so nice for the time, you know, like they really look pretty cool. I think I'm gonna try the other one. This one just moves, and it just looked so nice, but ran so poorly. I don't know. I really don't know what. I don't know. it's hard going back to that. I would love to see like a modern take on Johto, you know? Just that. Just no need to. I would accept BDSP for Johto, for example, something like that. Something that just, you know, shows me Johto on a. I can play Johto on my Nintendo Switch. That would be perfect for me. I'm also fine with it not happening, you know. I love it, but I'm fine with it just being a dream of mine, you know. Oh, it's a dream of mine to get this. But yeah, for the most part, I'm extremely happy with you know, the advances we got in Pokemon games. I think that going back and having the HMs, having slower engines, and even the leveling. I know people hate the experience share, and I do believe the experience shares should be under a switch. You know, it should be on and off. You know, toggle it on, toggle it off. It'll be fine. But I miss it. You know, I miss the global experience share when I'm playing older games. I do. And I never had it. When I played those games, back when they came out, I never had any of that, but I find myself wanting it whenever I'm playing them. I think that it does more good than it does harm when it comes, and I think it is less accepted by the online community than it is by the general community, you know? And I think the Switch really would only be like something that the online community would be like, whoa, we finally have it. You know, I think that would be more of an online community thing than it would be like an actual, you know, like, oh, everyone loves this, you know? I think most people really do want the experience share to be global, I think. Because it does makes things a lot easier, you know? Everything is definitely a lot easier to do if you level up fast, you know? I think grinding is like, you know? I did enjoy back in the day when I played MMORPGs. I'm gonna get my hair. I should probably just, yeah, I'll get my hair behind the chair. It's very hot here. I'm sweating like crazy. I don't have the hair tie around here, so I'll go like this. I know it looks weird, but it really is what I need to do right now. It's very hot, and the house becomes very hot. Sleeping has been surprisingly easy despite everything, but man, it's tough. In fact, I'm gonna open a window actually. I think we need to breathe a little here. It's not easy, really isn't. But it's better. But yeah, I'll do that again, and I think that's fine. But yeah, these last few days have been pretty hot. It's insane how hot things became all of a sudden. For whatever reason, supposedly it rains for like 3 hours between today and tomorrow. So from like 4 a.m. to 7 a.m. it's raining, which sure, that's cool. It waters stuff, but during the day it's been like infernal, you know? My new Pokemon is Tauros. Any nickname ideas? For Tauros, name it the Portuguese word for the bull, which is touro. Name it touro. Oh, nope, that's not it. This is the one. Add it. There we go. That's the Portuguese word for bull. Very Latin, very Taurus. And yeah. It's also my sign, by the way. My zodiac sign is actually Taurus. I do know that. In Pokemon Legends Arceus, Basculegion cannot learn physical ghost moves, but it can learn special ghost and water moves. So if you want a Basculegion with 2 optimal stab moves, you need to use a female. Why a female though? Does it change the... I'm confused now. is there a chance between the female basculine and the female masculine and I don't know how that works. I'm confused. I am confused. Probably something obvious that I should know, but anything that involves there's like a Portuguese thing on Twitch where people can claim, and I'll speak in Portuguese. I'll read whatever they said in Portuguese, but and there was one that just said everything in Portuguese basically. But I cannot really see what's happening on Twitch anymore because the chat is just weird. This chat thingy, and doesn't let me like check what's happening. Oh, I didn't know that. I did not know that. Let me see if I can check the chat. Maybe I can. Give me a second. Sure. But yeah, I do have like a thing on Twitch that people can claim where I'll read the message in Portuguese. There was one at a certain point where people would be like, "Oh, I chat in Portuguese for like, I don't know if it was like 30 seconds or something." There was something like that, but it became too chaotic because even to me it is weird. You know, like to people it became weird, and to me it was weird as well because nobody understood anything. My brain is like English coded for the stream, and then restarting the brain into Portuguese once more. It's hard. You guys not see it, but whenever I finish the stream, I enter my my reset mode, you know, and I try to reset myself. Sometimes a wild Pokemon can hold an item, including TM. The Taurus was holding the TM for Dragon Dance. That is cool. You do have some dragons now, so you know, that is always nice. It's still very hot here. I think streaming will be when I die. I'll die of dehydration during a stream, you know? That's basically what I feel will happen. It also goes to that extreme. I did not know that. I knew about the changes, you know, the changes that some Pokemon have between male and female, but I didn't know about that. How long have you spoken English? We learn English from a very young age here. It's young. People start younger now, but I think I started learning in school at my 5th grade. Yeah, during 5th grade, I believe that was the first time we had it. I think might have had like an introduction to it on my 4th grade. I knew a bit about English before from playing games, mostly Pokemon. You know, the basic things that you just, you know, like yes, no, you know, the kind of things that you learn because you need to find out what you're doing, so you kind of understand what certain words mean. Like water means agua in Portuguese, because you know, like I knew that this Pokemon is a water type, tipo agua, because I watched the anime, so I kind of knew because it was dubbed. You know, like things like that. I started learning smaller things and like separate words and independent things. I could not really form a sentence besides some specific ones that the game would ask or something. And then eventually it became easier for me to learn because I already was exposed to that language quite a lot because of video games, basically. And also, movies here are never dubbed. They do dub the cartoons, you know, the morning cartoons and all that. They do dub those, but movies and all those things, they're never dubbed. So you kind of were exposed to the language quite a lot, and that was basically it. I started learning. So if it was 5th grade, then it was a lot of years ago. I think so. I'd say 20 years ago. Kinda, more than 20 years ago. I started learning. I learned English for the first time, you know? And I decided to make it in English because of the bigger audience. That's exactly that. There was no other thought process behind it. It's like, there's more people, there's more chance of success, which doesn't really work like that now that I understand the market of YouTube a bit more. It's heavily saturated because you are competing with not only like English-speaking countries or creators from English-speaking countries, but almost everyone speaks English. So a lot of creators are not from an English-speaking country. So it is a very saturated market, and I think it is getting more and more. Anything online is becoming more and more saturated, so it becomes really hard to make yourself known. Still, in the Portuguese market, I didn't feel like I could, I didn't feel like I wanted to do what I wanted. Like if my goal was to reach a bigger audience because I was tired of the way leaks took over Pokemon content, doing that for the Portuguese side, that wouldn't really do anything, because I'm gonna be honest, I know no Pokemon YouTubers from Portugal. I know one from Brazil. I think he's also very leak heavy, but I know no one from Portugal. There's 100% there's people. I know some people from the TCG side because I played with them, but that is basically it. That is basically the reasoning behind it. I wanted to reach the most people, and the higher chance of reaching the most people was to make videos in English. Basically, it really is like a super cool thing. I always spot it when now when I put both of them, it always gets me. The heavy rapping Zangoose and the slow nod from Heathrow. But yeah, it is one of those. It is one of those things that I think it's the biggest decision you kind of have to make when you start making videos. Because for the most part, I'm assuming everyone that makes videos kind of knows what they want to make videos about when they start, at least. Even if it is, I'll make videos about anything. There you go. Your niche is everything, or variety. But I think deciding what language you want to make the video about, if you're not from an English-speaking country, it's probably one of the biggest decisions, because some people are very successful with their own language, because not only do they become successful within their country or the audience from their country, it's easier for them to actually get brand deals with things from their countries, because they're not as competing with a lot of other people with those kinds of that kind of influence. I know that for a fact. Like, there's people from Portugal here that their audiences are not that large compared to like someone from like America or something. You find a lot of larger people, but then you see that those ones, since their content was focusing on the Portuguese language and they spoke in Portuguese and all that, their influence is over the Portuguese market, and so they just get the brand deals. They get a very big paycheck. Like, they're working with like huge brands in Portugal, and I know people from the Pokemon sphere, for example, which is the one I'm more familiar with, that are not considered big creators by Pokemon standards compared to like the 1 million plus sub creator world, but they're bigger than those. They're still bigger than those. I know it's kind of a tough one. It's but whenever you make that decision, that's gonna stick with you, because, or at least like if you start making videos in your own language, then sure, you can go up to English. You can just I'm gonna go to a broader audience now. I'm gonna make them in English, and people from your original audience will still kind of stay, at least the ones that understand it. If you are doing English videos, but then you go back to do something in your language, nobody will understand, Nobody will understand. And you lose basically all of your audience. Now there's like auto dub or something, which is weird. Like, I got selected to be on the first wave of auto dubbed creators, which I kind of don't want to do that, That tells me that there's like a AI thing that will very likely use my voice to recreate what I'm saying in whatever language people select, and I kind of don't want that. I have received a lot of inquiries in like freelance thing about like going for a study where they'll basically get recordings of my voice to use in supposedly support chats, and I'm like, no, I don't know, man. I don't trust those things. Make me the old man yells at cloud, but I don't know. I'm really the more it advances, the more I feel like we're about to get doomed, basically, by the influence that AI has over people, because people do not fact check anything nowadays. And I've seen things that are very obviously generated and all that people are believing, and I'm like, oh, what the hell? That is gonna be tough in a few years when things like really get out of hand, or when in a year. I'm not gonna even say like in a few years. In a year, it's gonna be crazy. That's what I'm saying. Like being a creator is tough. Like there are already AI creators, you know, and the future doesn't look bright because it takes a toll on you to create videos, because you have to constantly be creating something. You have to put in work. Like a video can take a long time to make, or it can take no time. I think my most successful video was the Gita one, where the Compass, the supposed evil team, the Compass and all that. That thing took me it was like an hour and a half video to script, record, and edit. And that thing just bang for my buck for sure. Like that was a crazy one. But there are videos that took me like hours and hours and hours, and something that is made by a robot just can pump things out and not get tired, and it's kind of tough. What was the hardest thing for you to grasp in English? It is speaking real language at times. I think for the most part, and it still happens nowadays when I'm writing. I'm very glad for spell check and stuff like that, and the ability to Google something and have the answer straight up. You know, the in and on, like the using in and on, that thing still to this day confuses me. Still to this day, it confuses me. There are some things that I believe that there's something in them when there's something on them. You know, the ones that aren't like physical in or physically on, you know, the ones that are more like whenever it's this, it's on, you know, even though you are not on something. You know, those things still confuse me to this day. And I think I was always like very good in English. It was always my best subject. Not the language kind of guy, but it just came easy because of how I was exposed to the language for a long time. And the question thing, it's like, you understand that, you do it. But those things kind of, still to this day, mess me up. I keep trying to, oh my God, what am I doing? You know? Like, is it this one? And I have to go like, okay, is it in or is it on? You know, like, and that's the only way that I can do it, you know? My girlfriend is an English teacher. Like, if I'm with her, I will ask her and I'll get the answer. But whenever not, well, Google's my friend, I guess. Love that. That video was, I'm very proud of that one. I'm so glad that video actually passed my Pokemon Unite one. And I was so sad that I would have a Pokemon Unite video as my biggest one forever. You know, I was like, oh my God, really? Why? I really didn't want to have a Pokemon Unite video as my big video. No, that's the big video. I really didn't want that. I'm still sad about making that video even. I'm like, oh, why did I make that? You know, like, why did I end up doing that? And you know, it was a long time ago. I'll just say that it was a long time ago. I thought that would be my thing. Yeah. And Bitcoin will become a selling point. I think it's a mix of things. I'm going through that right now, actually. I'm a freelancer. I write lyrics. That's my thing. That's basically my job in a way. And I always, while that's my job, I also use YouTube, like, you know, like various sources of income to create like a source of income. And what I realized ever since last year, when first it started with the current conflict within Israel, Gaza, and all that. You know, like, I'm not even sure I can say the words without having like some kind of like label under the video or something. So whenever the conflict started last year in October, there was a big boycott, and I basically used Fiverr for freelancing. And the Fiverr is it's in Israel. I think it is like an Israeli thing or whatever. And there was a slight boycott, and I felt it a little, but then things became normal because they realized that people that are working there are not related to any conflict in any way. But then there's like a bit of some turmoil, economic turmoil within America, and most of my clients are American. Whenever people are in a bit of a financial situation that is not as pleasant as they would love, what happens is that they stop kind of caring about the ethic of things, because I've always had clients. I never had issues with AI. AI ended up being something that just opened up a bit of a different kind of service that I offer, which was I'll fix your lyrics. I'll not only write them, I will fix them. You can send me something, and I noticed a pattern. You can clearly tell when something was written by AI. It is very obvious not written by a human. And so I always knew that, okay, these lyrics that I'm revising and fixing are written by AI. So that's what kind of happened. Instead of like people bringing me their lyrics, they brought me lyrics that were written by AI, and I could say that. So instead of like losing work, I definitely lost something, like for sure, but I started just having a different kind of thing to do. Instead of like writing things from scratch, I had to fix whatever other people brought me, and a lot of it was AI. I could tell it was AI generated. So, but that was fine. People didn't care about, people cared about quality and paying for quality, despite having AI available, and free. What happened was that when the situation in the US became a lot less predictable, like people are still waiting to see if they're going to enter a recession or not, like those kinds of things, especially for people, artists, that a lot of them are not making that much money. Their ethics start shifting a bit. Now that the financial situation is not as stable, AI starts feeling like an actual option, despite the bad things that it brings. Everyone knows that thing steals. It is what it is. Generative content is stealing, and it is not good. In the lyrics department, it is not good. It still isn't. It will be eventually for sure, but it still isn't. It writes basically, well, weirdly enough, and as cliche as it sounds, it writes soulless lines. It's very, you can tell they are very robotic. But I did notice a huge decrease from this year. Like 2025 has been one of my worst years in terms of everything, especially this last like 2-3 months has been terrible. And that's why I think that if people have to actually pay for something, I don't think shorts creators will care. I think shorts watchers for the most part are just consuming content, and I think AI or not AI, it doesn't matter to them. They'll just consume. Platforms like TikTok and all that, I think that's going to happen. And in terms of like actual, if they have to pay for something, and if they are in this situation where their financial situation is not as stable, as predictable, as good, they'll forget about the ethics and just carry on with that. It's true. Like when I was starting my trading card game, when I was developing the cards and all that, like I have the designs of the creatures in my mind. I quote unquote created them. A lot of them are inspired on other things. I used AI to generate the images for my my proxies. I even shared those images with, like, I think I sent them to audit. For example, I sent some of these where I showed people, oh, this is what they're going to look like and all that. But when I started noticing the pattern of how things were evolving, I decided to, well, learn how to draw. And that's basically the path I'm on. I have a friend that I have to talk to, is an artist, and I'll be like getting some, because I don't have I'm not in a situation to commission hundreds of different arts, but I don't want to steal them as well. So I'm going to learn how to draw. Whatever comes out, comes out. Maybe things get well enough that I go for a Kickstarter or something. Hello, Oliver, by the way. Welcome to the stream. How are you doing, Oliver? How are you doing? Let me get you on screen right now. There we go, the fly gun. Hope you're doing well. But yeah, I think it's one of those situations where even though you believe in something, sometimes you have to take care of yourself. And I think that is being very, very apparent nowadays with AI, especially in the creative field. I've heard this from a lot of people. Singers, with AI being able to create music create, being able to generate music, well, a lot of people that produce songs are starting to go for that. Like, you cannot really do it with a lot of genres, but if you produce EDM, for example, with a few like effects and all that on a vocal track, you can definitely get that thing generated, and it will pass any judgment by whatever people are listening to it, It really is like a tough time to be creative nowadays, because you already don't have a whole bunch of clients, and if they are in a situation where it becomes the best option for them, they will not care about you. It's human nature. It sucks, but I'm experiencing it firsthand, and I understand how I understand the cycle, because that's exactly how it began. Like, I know, and I've spoken to a lot of freelancers on the same platform and other platforms, and it is true. Like, it's a tough situation, because whenever a lot of clients come from the US, that's absolutely true. The ones I've had within this time frame where things have went like bad, they were not American, because then you start like being like, maybe I will go for another one, like maybe I'll generate this time and I'll do it differently next time, It's a tough one. It is a tough one. And so I'm not a believer that AI will make human content more sought after, I really am not. I think a lot of people that watch, I think long form videos are going to be fine for the most part. I really do. I think shorts are going to be populated by AI. They already are, kind of. I don't have a lot on my feed, but I've seen other people's feeds, and there's a lot of them. TikTok is super full. X is basically a pool of that. Instagram as well, not as much though, despite everything. Facebook is completely controlled by by AI. A lot of people say that Facebook is basically bots speaking to bots. I don't have a very Amazon books have been completely dominated. Lots of AI. Amazon keeps trying to ban them, but if there's a lot of people putting them there, they basically cannot handle everything. There's a lot of books that have been just taken out of the platform because they were not written. Everything about them was made by a machine. Basically, it was generated. The words were generated. The cover was generated. Everything was generated. And I really think things are moving towards a very tough future, and it's a very hard thing to legislate. It can, but like, I think the brainstorming is fine for the most part. I think if you have like no one to interact with about something, and you want a lot of things in the moment, lots of possibilities, I think that's absolutely fine. I think that really is a good way to just kickstart your brain. I do believe that a lot of people will go from the generation by just for personal use, to the generation for sale, the generation for and I think the generation part, the generative part of the AI is a very tough one to defend. I think the one for brainstorming, absolutely. I've used it as well before. I've had it recommended by other people and all that, so I know exactly. If you press CHA on my PC, there will be ChatGPT there, because I've used it for brainstorming as well. I think that's absolutely harmful for the most part. I know it's not harmless. I know it isn't harmless because there's a lot of environmental issues related to the recent craze about AI and all that, and blockchain as well, to be fair. I think the generative part is harder because a lot of people, even if you're just using it to see, okay, to look like that or something, I think like creating one thing is like, okay, you create a design with your prompt in order to like show it to an artist, for example, and the artist, so that's what you want. Okay, I'll use that as a reference to draw what you want. That's perfect. But it's kind of hard to separate that eventually from the rest. Like a lot of people will not do that. They will generate what they want and just keep it there. And by a lot of people, I mean the majority, you know? It's kind of a hard thing. It's kind of a hard thing because AI has been part of our lives since forever. Generative AI is the issue because AI, chatbots, and I don't know, like spell check, anything that kind of learns a behavior, you know, and there are a lot of things that were like in smart cars and stuff like that. Anything smart is basically an AI that's doing something. It's generative AI that's the issue here. I don't think like I don't think everything about it is bad. I think it could have been a wonderful thing. I think humans are bad, and the tool was 100% going to be used to just dominate something. And there's a lot of things it can dominate. I just lost Erica back to the lab again. Oh my god. There's going to be fire coming out. Back to the lab again. Yeah, it's a tough one. I'm not very keen on the whole AI thing. I think us as humans are not the best people, so I do feel like it will be used mostly for tough things, and it's kind of ruining the internet. You know, like you can it's hard for you to just interact with the internet in general now. There's a lot of like things happening there, you know. Kind of hard for me to explain it, but there's a lot of like not very cool things happening with AI. It's gonna be tough to deal with, like, for example, voice generation, for example. Yeah, but you're not using it in the sense of you're not using it in the sense of like reproducing it, you know. This one is Route 225 by Glitch City. Everything you're listening to is by Glitch City, and this is Route 225. So I think playing around with that for yourself is fine, you know, like, oh, like I've also tried it, you know, and it might give you ideas for you to like, oh, I want to use these things and all that. I do believe that the issue with generative AI is how sometimes, and for the most part, people are using it to take over other, like you cannot compete with someone that wants a service that is, for example, graphic design related or something. Someone that wants that is most likely a company. Those companies are the ones that were hiring artists in order to have them. I'm not even going to talk about the part that generative AI just steals from something that exists. And I know humans also do and all that, but humans, in a way, even if they are inspired on something else, they create. The AI generates. You're not learning a new skill. You're not utilizing a new skill. Someone that is doing that. You didn't learn from a specific thing. I think that it's mostly about the copyright part. Like after that, can you copyright something like that? You know. By the way, then I would choose Houndoom because Houndoom is awesome. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that is going to happen in the sense that people will use it as reference, like you said, and I think that's a perfectly cool way to use it. I do think generative AI is not ever going to be like the. It's going to be because of the other people that are using it, abusing it, and all that. I think those are going to be the death in terms of like the copyright aspect of AI, because there will have to be laws regarding AI, and you have, as of this moment, you have video generation that can definitely surpass a lot of people's radars. You have voice imitation, and you have that just changes the lips on the video that makes it seem like they're saying the words, which is terrible for anyone that has their voices there online, because anyone that talks, a public figure, a content creator, something like that, it's kind of hard because all of that is generative AI, you know. And whenever there's like a a law regarding generative AI, it will really have to tackle down everything. And one thing is going to be like copyright is going to have to be thrown out the window. Like something like that cannot be copyrighted because it was not created; it was generated. It wasn't made by someone. It was generated. It was like a prompt. Yeah, I agree with you. I think it should definitely be used as a tool. It shouldn't be the only tool. And I think that a lot of creative people are already fine with using it. It's definitely going to be something that happens in all bigger studios will use it. I cannot imagine. I know Nintendo is supposedly against it from now on, for now, but I do believe that you'll see it happen. Like for sure, you'll see it happen with a lot of game studios, for example, and people that work there will have to work with it. They'll have to learn to work with it. I see it happening in animation a lot, for example. I see it happening with specific designs, like you create an artwork, but someone asks just to change a single part, something easy, something that to them is easy, but maybe to the artist is not that easy, so you just replace it. I can see that happening. I can see it being paired with actual work. The problem right now is that everything is flooded by the uncreative people, like you put it, and I think it's gonna be the thing that kills the motivation for a lot of creative people to even continue. It's the same thing I said in my video about Pokemon leaks and all that. You basically have a situation where the content became so unfun with people simply copy and pasting the same tweet with the leaks that someone said or 4chan posts or whatever, that a lot of people got tricked into that being the way. And either you create that or you cannot create, or no one will care about what you create. And I can't even imagine how many people that would be awesome creators with great ideas for speculations and theories and fun videos about Pokemon have given up because of people that all they do is speak the same things over and over, you know? The same, Leaker Man said X, Leaker Man said Y, you know, like those kinds of things. Because there's a group of like 5 people, or 6 or 7 or 10 or whatever, that all their videos are going to be the same, and you know it. If a specific account tweets all of their videos, and even the podcasts, the big podcast, it's always going to be the same thing. They're all going to be talking about the same thing in the same way, because there's no essence there. There's just that. And if someone creative sees that, they're probably not going to create. I think there are things that just take all the motivation away from people that want to create something new, because as much as you like to create, you want people to actually interact with your creation, or else you're probably going to feel like you didn't do a good job, and it takes away. I do believe that as much as you like to create, if no one cares about your creation, you will stop caring about it yourself. That's pretty fine to do if you lived in a time when there was nothing else to do. That's a nice way to say things if you lived in a different time. That would work 100% in a time when the world wasn't constantly calling for you, you know? Right now, you have so little free time in your life. Most people have so little free time in their lives that even the act of creating a very simple thing could be a process that takes days, you know? It will be discouraged eventually. It will. As a human being that has a job, that has to sleep, that has school, whatever, you know, you have so little time to actually do something that you want, that if you start putting yourself out there, if you're creating just for yourself, that's fine. But if you take the step of like sharing what you want with other people, what you create with other people, and you don't see anyone caring, most people, and they're still true artists because they created. A true artist simply creates. If they create, they are an artist. A true artist. They will lose their motivation. It's tough. It is tough, but it is what there is to it. it's kind of hard, because if you put yourself out there, you want to discuss something. You want to talk about your thing, and you will do it. You will do it without views for a while. You'll do it, but someday you'll just be demotivated. I keep seeing that with many people on Twitter. People that have like lots of especially fake mons and stuff like that, but stop getting interactions because, you know, sometimes because of them, but other times because the world is different now and you don't have time. Like it takes a lot of time, and if you're spending that time to do that, maybe you'll start thinking, maybe I should be doing something else. And it really is like that. And they're still true artists. They are true artists. And it's just that that's how you interact with the nowadays. It's tough. Nowadays, it's not the same as back in the day when you had so much time to be an artist. And you know, like when sculpture was a big thing, you know, you could spend all the time in the world sculpting something. Maybe someone ordered it, maybe not, you know, and maybe you'd be cool, or maybe you just not really eat the next few days or something, because, you know, what you gonna do? There's nothing else to do. Work isn't 9 to 5. You cannot leave. You know it's a different world. It's a very fast world nowadays. Leak rumors are the worst. There are so many things you can do with Pokemon side scoring for channel rumors. It's very easy though. You have topics all the time because it's a constant there. Fakemon reviews, Infamous Trainers covers a bunch of Fakemon dexes, and it's so fun to watch. That sounds like something cool actually. I was never very much into the Fakemon thing. I know I started creating the one on the Discord channel, but then I stopped. But it was around the same time that Toby and Lockstin and Hoops, everyone was making their own, and I thought that was a pretty cool thing. It's harder than it seems. It is really harder than it seems, especially if you want to balance the Pokédex and all that. It's really harder than it seems. And I could never finish it, because, like I said, it's something that happens to me a lot. It's hard to have time to focus on everything. If I had to tell you how many times I've thought about if this is sustainable, what I do, the videos and all that, with the constant situation in my life, I thought about it multiple times. You know, I have a lot of projects that I've been trying to make do with them, music and all that, and even with the band and all that, I thought many times, like, is it even worth it? You know, it's time consuming. I don't have the same time that I had as a teen, for example. When I was a teenager, if you got me in like 5 projects at the same time, I'm fine with that. I can sleep like 3 hours and just be fine with it. I'll survive. But now I cannot do it. I won't be functional if I do that. It is what it is. It's a tough one. And I do believe that anything that kills creativity, even if its goal was not to do that, is not a good thing. It is not a good thing. It doesn't have a positive impact in the world. I don't think AI has a positive impact in the world. For example, I don't think that. Not generative AI. I don't think generative AI can have a positive impact in the world. It's an unnecessary thing that came to be because of how, commodist we became. I don't know if commodist is the right word. It's very much the Portuguese word. How self-indulgent we became. It's a product of today's world. Random Charmeleon just killed my team with Dragon Rage. New starters are Parasect, Umbreon, and Totodile. I mean, there's only one choice. Then you can do it. It's Totodile. You have to go Totodile. You have to go Totodile. Yeah, I do feel like the world would definitely be a better place if people actually created more. But a lot of people assume that it's just too hard. And something that just tells them, tell me what you want and I'll make it happen. It's just enough for them. They will never attempt to even learn something more than that. And it disappoints me because it will kill a lot of other creatives, because it's becoming more and more available, easier and easier. It's becoming It's in your phones now, you know. I cannot search anything on Google without having Gemini telling me something or whatever the name is, and it's mostly wrong, but it just goes to one of the websites and takes something out of it. It's fine. You can eat rocks. You should eat like at least 5 or something, you know. It's a tough thing, but it is what it is, you know. I wish I shared the same sentiment as you, Zane, where you know, like the AI use will weed out the non-creative ones that are trying to abuse it and bring out the human hand and human touch back to the limelight. I do not think that will happen, but maybe because I'm being affected by it, you know, and there's nothing I can do. Like in my case, it's literally people will choose that over you, and I can really adapt to that, you know. All I can do is lower my prices and hope everything is fine. It is what it is, you know. Let us check our final Arceus. That was very close. I even touched the mic. I even asked the mic. Oh, there we go. Not getting crits. All right. Final Arceus of today, my friends. Final Arceus of today. It is gonna be... Come on. Non-shiny. My friends, thank you so much for everything. Zane, sorry about the rant. It is something I'm very deeply interested in, connected to. Thank you so much for everything. There's the Pikachu there. It now glows. I have it. It will be on videos from now on. But it is what it is. Thank you so much. Oliver, I said hello. I said hello to you. But I don't know if you left or if you came back now, but hope you had a wonderful day. Hope everyone has a rest of the wonderful day. I won't be here tomorrow, but I'll very likely be here on Friday for some very fun Arceus resets, most fun of all. Thank you so much for everything, and I'll see you all on the next one. Oh. But that's not generative AI. That's what I'm saying. That is the AI we already have, and that's not what it's being developed for. That's what I'm saying. The investment in AI right now is being invested in generative AI, and not really in that kind of AI. That's the tough part, because that's not what people are looking for. Anyway, goodbye everyone. I love you all. You are all fantastic, but I really need to go because I gotta water the whole lawn because it's been very hot. Thank you so much.